Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Markets Podcast. It is Tuesday, the 12th of August, 2025. U.S. stock market has been open for just about 30 minutes right now. Um, do not adjust your computer screen. This is going to be an audio only podcast. Um, Based on the circumstances of where I'm at right now and some stuff I have going on, I'm able to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market this morning. I'm just not going to be able to have any video with this, so you're not going to see me moving around the computer screen and adjusting things the way I normally would. Um, about 30 minutes into trading today, the NASDAQ is up a little bit, only about 10 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 235 points, having a really good day. The S&P 500 up about 13 points. I believe if the S&P 500 finishes at or near where it's at right now, based on it giving up a little bit yesterday, that might not be a new record close, but it won't be far off of it. And it could easily, climb a little bit more today. And certainly it has the ability to end up at a new record close yet again. We've had a bunch of those in the last couple of weeks, and it's not out of the question that it could happen again. I think if it finishes even just a tiny bit higher, I'm looking at a chart right now, and again, I know you have no video, but I'm looking at a chart right now, and there 2 days ago, I know was a new record high finish, but then it sold off a little bit yesterday. So I think it would have to be up a little bit more than where it's at today to finish at another record close, but it could certainly do that. NASDAQ is struggling just a little bit because you've got AMD giving up some ground. You've got Nvidia giving up ground. You've got Palantir giving up ground. So the NASDAQ right now is barely in positive territory. And some of that, maybe not all of it, but some of that is, I saw a headline last night about Tesla is suing Apple or threatening to sue over antitrust violations. I don't know what that is specific to. I have not looked to see exactly what that's about or what the details are of that, but that seems to be holding the NASDAQ. I mean, there's other NASDAQ companies down a little bit. I know some of this uncertainty about what's going to happen with Nvidia and AMD and the situation with China. I know that's causing a little bit of anxiousness, and that certainly is going to affect the NASDAQ to some degree. But with that said, the three major indexes are all in the green, and largely a lot of that green ink this morning. A lot of the reason they're up is that the CPI report came out about an hour and a half ago, and the numbers were good. They were either in line with what was expected, or just off such a fraction that the story it tells is that inflation, or at least increasing inflation, is not an issue right now. I know the number is not down to where the Fed would like it. I know that the Fed wants to see inflation down at 2%, and I believe right now it's closer to 3% on by all metrics right now. It's closer to 3%, but it hasn't since it's come down to that. There's been a little tiny bit of back and forth from one month to the next, but there has not been a jump up. Some of the numbers, the CPI month over month came in line, 0.2%. The previous month it was 0.3, so that's a tick down. The CPI, the full year over year, was expected to be 2.8. Instead, it came in at 2.7. So that's a tenth of a percent better than what was expected, and basically flat from last month. And then the only number that was just a tiny bit high, core year over year, was expected at 3.0. It came in at 3.1. I've always been a little bit puzzled at the CPI data, why they do one number that includes everything and one number that is core. The explanation is that food and transportation are so volatile and can shift so much from month to month that they take that out, and that's how they get the core figure. I would argue that whether those two things are volatile or not, they're a part of the inflation picture. They're a part of the consumer price index. So why put out a number with and without them? I don't get that. But anyway, the numbers largely came in, like I said, either in line or off by such a fraction. You could argue that the year over year full CPI was 0.1% better than expected. The core was 0.1% worse than expected, than the analyst expectations, and so the two balanced each other out. And like I said, it just simply paints a picture that inflation is at the very least in check. Maybe not coming down like we would like it to, but certainly not going up, and much better than it was, the previous 3.5, 4 years. And all of that has increased this morning, just since the podcast I did yesterday, middle of the day, my time. It has uh, increased the chances, or the betting market's expectation that the Fed will lower rates or give us some type of a rate cut from 82% to 94% just with that CPI data. So we don't get any PPI data tomorrow. We get it on Thursday. That will, hopefully paint the same picture, and we'll see these markets continue to rally a little bit. It would be nice to see the Q rally just a little bit more early in the trading session. Our Q long iron condor was 100% in the money on the call side. It's slipped from there a little bit, but I know it could get back there very quickly. The new meta trade we put on, I hope you got into that one yesterday before the market closed, because I'm already up 6%, 7% on that trade, and I think that's going to be a major winner. For the triple play members, if you're in DoorDash, it's looking great. If you're in Microsoft was up a lot yesterday, only to finish ever so slightly in the negative. It was up early again this morning, really high, and then has given up a little bit. But I still think before the week is over, Microsoft will be back up over 525. So I think we're going to be fine there. Um, all in all, looking really good. I got filled on the PANW, the Palo Alto Network trade yesterday, but I cannot get in. I cannot get the CoreWeave trade that I'm trying to get into. I cannot get that one to fill. CoreWeave reports after the bell today, after the close of the market. So if we don't get in the CoreWeave trade today, I will probably add a new trade tomorrow or Thursday. This is for the triple play members. Um, Something directional on CoreWeave. If they have really good earnings and they're taking off back to the upside, we'll do a very bullish trade short term, probably something like an in the money bull call spread. If they're trending to the downside, we may do a bear put or a bear put calendar and take advantage of that either way. So don't hang your head down if you don't get in either one of these trades. I may add some new trades before this week is over. So all in all, looking good this morning. Uh, Not other than the PP or the CPI data. And by the way, just in the 8 minutes that I have been online recording this, the Nasdaq has gone from barely in the plus column to 80 points up. So even the Nasdaq looks like it could get a nice rally, and our Q trade could possibly be in a position by the close of the day today. We could be in a position where we could get out of that trade possibly. I'll be on Discord off and on throughout the day. I won't be glued right to it for the entirety of the day, but I'll be here off and on throughout the day. And so I'll give updates as I'm able to on Discord. All right. I know it's kind of short, and I apologize that it's audio only. I should be back to a normal audio video podcast tomorrow morning. We'll start live about 30 minutes after the open of the market. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye-bye.